In a village wrapped between tall iroko trees and dusty footpaths that twisted like tired snakes, there once lived a couple whose story was whispered long after their footprints had faded from the earth. Their names were Oji and Lami, a husband and wife bound not only by marriage but by hardship that clung to them like stubborn smoke. Poverty had settled into their hut years before, creeping into their cooking pots, sleeping on their raffia mats, and eating the laughter that once filled their home. In the early days of their marriage, Oji had been known as a hard-working hunter. His arrows never missed, and his traps were always full. Lami sold vegetables in the village square, her voice cheerful and her hands quick. But fortune is like the wind, it changes direction without warning. A long season of drought came, and the forest grew silent. Animals disappeared, crops refused to grow, even the river shrank into a muddy thread. Hunger entered their home like an uninvited guest and refused to leave. They had one child, a daughter named Amara. She was the only light in their darkening world. Amara grew like a young palm tree, slender, graceful, and full of promise. Her laughter was bright enough to make neighbors forget their troubles, and her beauty, even as a child, turned heads wherever she went. But more than her beauty, she had a gentle heart and dreams that stretched far beyond the village. She wanted to learn. She wanted to read. She wanted to become someone whose name would be spoken with pride. Yet dreams do not fill empty stomachs. As the drought deepened, desperation began to change Oji and Lami. Hunger makes the kind-hearted suspicious and the humble greedy. They started to look at Amara not just as their beloved child, but as a possible escape from their suffering. They watched other families marry off their daughters to wealthy men in exchange for bags of rice, goats, and coins that clinked sweetly like promises of survival. At first, Lami resisted the thought. She would sit at night, staring into the dying fire, whispering to herself, "Not my daughter. Not my Amara." But hunger is a patient enemy. Day by day, it chipped away at her resolve. The neighbors' whispers became louder. "There is a man in the next village," they said. "A rich trader. He is looking for a young wife." The man's name was Chief Boro. Chief Boro was known far and wide, but not always for honorable reasons. He was wealthy, yes, his compound was large, his barns were full, and his voice carried authority. But beneath his polished smile lay a heart hardened by selfishness. He saw people as tools, not companions. His previous wives had left under strange circumstances, though no one dared question him openly. When Oji first heard of Chief Boro's interest in taking another wife, greed stirred in his chest like a sleeping snake awakening. He imagined sacks of rice stacked against their walls. He imagined goats grazing behind their hut. He imagined respect returning to his name. One evening, he spoke to Lami with a voice that sounded strange even to his own ears. "Chief Boro has asked for Amara's hand." Lami froze. Her hands trembled as she stirred the thin soup before them. "She is only a child," she whispered. "A child who can save us," Oji replied sharply. Amara overheard them from the corner of the hut where she lay pretending to sleep. Her heart pounded like a drum in a festival. She knew of Chief Boro. Everyone did. She had seen the way fear followed him like a shadow. That night, Amara cried silently into her mat, her tears soaking the worn raffia beneath her. Days passed, and negotiations began. Chief Boro visited their hut, dressed in flowing robes